Welcome back to the vlog. Today I'm doing a $300 buy-in at the 1-3 game, and the first hand I pick up is Jack 10 offsuit in the big blind. The middle position made 10. The low Jack calls, the cutoff calls, the small blind limps, 43 in the pot. I see a lot of dead money. I definitely can't just call with this. I'm going to put in a 3-bet. I make it 55. The only player that wants to come along is the original better. 140 in the pot. We're going to the flop. It's 6-10 ace. I connect with my 10, but there's a pesky ace on the board. The middle position player doesn't know that I don't have an ace, though, so I'm going to continue betting like I have it. I make it 75. There's definitely an argument to just check here because I do have showdown value. But I think because I'm out of position, I want to continue to apply pressure to this pot. I don't want to give up the initiative, and it's going to be good enough the opponent folds. If you want to support the channel, don't forget to drop a like on the video. Thank you so much. Let's get back to the action. 377 in my stack. The next hand I pick up is 8-7 of hearts in the hijack. Then another gun player has made it 18. The low jack calls. Like I always say, I should probably 3-bet and show aggression. My stack's just not large enough yet. I make the call. The button comes along as well. 76 in the pot. On the flop comes out Queen 9-10. I flop an open ender, but it's not such a great one because a jack gives a king a straight as well. I also have a backdoor heart draw. The under the gun player bets 45. The low jack makes the call, bringing the pot to 166. 45 is a good enough price for me to call. If I hit the 6, I'll be golden. And the button decides to rip his whole stack in. 98 total. 53 more for me to call. The under the gun player makes the call, and then the low jack goes all in. He is 53 as well. I, of course, am going to make the call. 466 in the pot. It's grown to be massive, and I want to win it. The turn is the 2 of hearts, bringing me 4 hearts, giving me a ton more outs on the river. I don't think I'm going to put in a bet here because there's 2 players all in. I'm going to get down to showdown anyways, and I want to see that river. The river comes with 3 of clubs. Unfortunately, it's a blank. I check. My opponent checks as well. And the player to my right in the low jack, who is all in, shows king jack offsuit for the flop straight, and he's going to be scooping the pot. I top back off $39 to 300, and I pick up a beauty. Pocket kings under the gun, 297 in my stack. I wish I had better position, but I got to take what I'm given. I'm going to open the action. Of course, I make it 15. I would probably like to see myself make it 20 here, just to put a little more pressure. The button has that covered, though. He makes it 50. Exactly what I want to see. Folds around to me. I'm not going to waste any time messing around to see that ace on the flop. I rip my whole stack, and I have him covered. He makes the call for 195, 494 in the pot, almost 5 Benjamins, and we just have to sweat a run out. The flop comes 264, looking great so far. The turn's the 8, and the river's a 3. Surely I'm good, and I am. My opponent flips up ace-jack offsuit, and I'm scooping a massive pot up to 561, and I'm on a little pocket pair heater because I pick up pocket 10s, this time on the button, exactly where I want to pick up any good hand. The hijack limps, the cutoff bets 11, and of course I'm going to put into the 3-bet. I make it 40. Once again, I think my sizing on these bets are a little small. I could have gone 50 or 60. The pocket 10s could be defended a little stronger than a $40 bet. The big line makes the call. The cutoff comes along, 124 in the pot, and it comes out 3, queen, 3. Pretty static board, not a lot going on. I need to continue betting. Surely no one has a 3, and if no one has a queen, I'm going to take it down right now. I bet 60. I only get one player to call. It's the big blind. Concerned that I guess if anyone's going to have a 3, it's going to be him. Ace-3 suited is really the only thing that comes to mind. The turn is the 9 of spades below my 10s, but the big blind decides to take the initiative and rip his whole stack in for 100. This has me concerned, but the first thing that comes to my mind is that 9 of spades brings in flush and straight possibilities. My opponent likely wants to protect his 3, wants to take the pot right now, and is hoping I'll call with the queen. I'm not going to call with my 10s. I make the fold. Lost $100 on that hand, down to 461, and the next hand I pick up is 8-6 of clubs in middle position. I'm going to open the action with the suited gapper to make it 13. The hijack makes the call. The cutoff makes the call. This is a limp call type of table. The small blind comes along as well. 4 players going to the flop, 55 in the pot. And it comes out 7-4-10. An interesting flop for me. I have a backdoor flush draw, but more importantly, a 5 gives me a straight. And a 9 gives me a straight as well, a double gutter. I'm going to open the action for 30. And the hijack wants to call. The small blind's interested as well, 145 in the pot, and the turn's the 4 of clubs. I like to see the club. I don't necessarily like to see the 4, because now what I'm chasing could be devastated already. This time I check, and the hijack is going to take the initiative, and the hijack bets out 50. My hand's good enough to call. Definitely not going to put in the fold. I don't want to put the pressure on this board. Usually when a board pairs like this, it's hard to get the opponent off of the hand. If he has a 4, he's not folding. If he has ace 10, king 10, he's not folding. If he has a spade draw, he's probably not folding. I make the call. And the river comes out the 8 of diamonds. Pairing my 8, but it's not the out that I want to see. I could try to take this pot down right now, but I have enough showdown value that I think I might be able to just beat his missed spade flush draws and take the pot. I check, he checks back and flips over ace 10. Maybe if I applied a little bit of pressure on the river, I could have taken it, but probably not. I patiently wait for the next hand, sending some scraps to the compost pile. 348 in my stack, and the next hand I pick up is king 9 of diamonds in the hijack. The undergun player opens for 15. The low jack makes the call. I'm going to put in a 3-bet. I think this is a perfect 3-bet candidate. It's kind of a crappy hand, but it's also kind of a beautiful hand. Definitely not a hand that you want to see the flop with without applying a little bit of 3-bet aggression. Unfortunately, when I puff up my chest and roar like a lion, the table thinks that I sound like a mouse because the big blind makes the call. The under the gun comes along as well, and the low jack puts 45 in the pot, 241 cooking up on the hibachi grill, and the dealer puts out the flop, king 9-4, top 2 pair, but 3 hearts on the board. This is no time to be delicate. This is no time to be dainty. I've shipped my whole stack in, all in. I'd like to see folds all around, because if I get called, they either had the flush or they're drawing to the flush to beat me. The only player that wants to make the call is the under the gun player. She puts 222 in the pot, 685 to win. The turn comes out the token blank, the 2 of clubs, and the river is a 6 of spades. I flip over my hand hoping that it held, and it did. My opponent flips up pocket queens with the queen of hearts. My stack is growing, headed in the right direction, 748, and the next hand I pick up is 10-9 of hearts in the big blind. The under the gun player limps, the hijack limps, so does the button, the small blind defends. I'm going to put in raise to 18. Once again, I should have sized up larger. If you want to take anything away from this episode and apply it to your game, don't just bet to make a pot builder, bet to get people out of the pot. Definitely doesn't happen this time. The under the gun hijack button and small blind all call $90 in the pot. 5-way action to the flop and his 4-jack ace. I completely miss. And with so many players in the pot, I should just give up. I decided to bet small though. 25. The under the gun player calls. The hijack comes along as well. And it turns to 2 of hearts. Now I've picked up a hard draw, and that's all the excuse I need to do something even dumber than what I did on the flop. I always have the impulse to try to push people off the pot with aggression. And that's what I do this time. I should just check, try to see the free card. If I hit my heart, good for me, but I don't need to be wasting any more money chasing my draws. I wish I would have had that thought process in the game. I don't, and I bet 100. The hijack makes the call, and the river comes out the jack of clubs. I really want to put in a bluff. I think that I could get my opponent to lay his hand down, but he only has about 130 left behind. I decide I'm just going to give up on this one, check it. He checks back and says that I must have counterfeited him. He flips up 4 deuce offsuit. Oh my gosh, one more bullet on the river. I would have scooped that one. 608 in my stack. I get pocket 10s. Scoop a small pot, bringing my stack to 665. It's been an up and down session. Hopefully I can finish it off with a win. I fold away some hands, and then I pick up pocket 5s on the button. I straddle this pot. The other gun player makes the call. The cutoff puts in the first bet to 20. I'm going to make the call with my pocket 5s. Pocket 9s, 10s, jacks. Definitely would have 3-bet. Pocket 5s, I'm just going to set mine. The under the gun player makes the call as well. 3-way action to the flop. $64 in the pot. And the dealer puts out 4 ace 8. Not a 5 in sight. But that doesn't mean I'm going to give up yet. The cutoff bet's 25. And I make the call. The turn is the 2 of hearts. Now I've picked up some outs. I'm looking for a 3. A 5 would probably do it too. The cutoff bet's again $45. I honestly just don't believe him. I think my hand might be good, and this price is not that terrible. And so I make the call, and the river comes out, and it's the miracle 3. I don't have to worry anymore. I definitely have the best hand, holding 2 of the 5s. There are so few combinations of 5s that he could have. I'm not worried about it in the slightest. Now, the question is, how much value can I get out of him? He decides to check over to me this time, unfortunately. I was hoping he'd put in one more bet. I'm targeting an ace. I'm targeting an 8. I'm targeting pocket pairs between those, and I bet 100. My opponent groans and grovels, not happy to make the call, but he does make the call. I flip over my hand, showing the straight. It's going to be good. And he flips up pocket 7s. He did have me the whole way. I was a sitting duck until that river came and bailed me out. 879 in my stack. I go through a bit of a dry spell, and then I think to myself, maybe I should leave. One of my rules, my biggest rule maybe, is that the moment I think maybe I should go, I get up and go. And that's what I do. I rack up my chips and head to the cage to turn them into cold, hard cash. And I have a very special episode for you next episode. Stay tuned. In for 339, out for 893 for a profit of 554. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't. Kato out.